Well, there you have it. Can I ask you a secret? Part 1, celebrating just some of the life of the incredible creative that is little Simz. Come on up here. Gosh. Wow, wow, wow.
Oy, oy.
I mean, this is quite the turnout. Yeah. And when we were talking earlier, I think you couldn't quite believe it, but all these people have legit come out for you.
Yeah, like, I genuinely, I didn't think it was going to be what it's turned out to be. I know, like, it sounds silly to say, but I genuinely just never expect anything. Like, I just put something out and just hope for the best. So I'm really, really grateful, you guys, for showing up and, yeah, making this what it is. So thank you.
Exactly, nephew. Start the applause. You trained them well. Truly, truly. But yeah, I want to zoom in on that because I don't think you can underestimate what a big deal it is for you to curate a whole night in an art space in the UK. It's true because, you know, I think we can speak frankly and honestly because that's what you do with your music. Art spaces can traditionally be quite elitist and only available to certain sects of society. And I think the fact that you are able to do this is really special. So my question to you is this. When you were first approached to do this, was there hesitation there? Did you think, wow, do I even belong here? Or were you like, nah, let's go?
Yeah, there was a lot of hesitation. I think, yeah, I probably didn't respond, to be honest, at first. I was like just sitting on it and just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that or go into that space. But as I spoke to people, sat on it, I was like, no, do you know what? I think if I'm able to do it how I want to do it, I guess, because sometimes that's always the thing. It's like you get asked to do something, but we just want your name, though. We don't really want you to touch it too tough. But if I'm able to create how I want to create it, you know, put people on the lineup, DJs, the workshops, if I'm able to do that how I want to do it, then I'll do it. And I was able to, few setbacks here and there. I'm not going to hot up the tape, but we had to, we had to compromise on a few bits, which is all good. You know what I mean? It's the first of many, and it's the start of something beautiful. But honestly, walking in there today and just seeing like so many people from all different walks of life, it's like it's just really special that I've been able to do that with my team as well. Because, like you said, it's like art spaces, galleries. Like when I was coming up, I never felt like that was somewhere I could go. Like even just walking into a gallery feeling like, oh, are people going to judge me or what do I know about art? But I think I know my taste and I know what I think's cool, and that's all that's really important. So I'm happy I was able to open this up to everyone, you know.
Absolutely, it's about sowing those seeds and, you know, inspiring future generations like we saw like up there. So let's talk about that little girl, little Simz. Vim, energy. It's safe to say you've known who you were from early. Where do you
Run the track.
Yeah, no, truly. Where do you think that comes from? Because, you know, as we know, life is an ever-evolving journey. We're always getting to new versions of ourselves. But to have that kind of confidence, how old were you there? Like,
I think I was in year 6.
so what, 10, 11?
Yeah.
To have that level of confidence as a little girl, especially as a little black girl in the UK, it's incredible. It's really beautiful. It's to be protected, you know. Where did that come from?
I think this is why I hate like my family, because I really like, they honestly made me feel like I was Missy Elliott. Like that I was really the it girl, you know what I'm saying? So I think it all starts from your foundation, and I was very well supported, and I was made to feel like I can fly, and I really like honed in on that, and that's something that I have to give credit to them for, because there was no like glass ceiling, or sky wasn't the limit for me, you know. And so I think, so funny just watching this back now. I'm like, as you do, like it's the younger version of yourself. But I think like when I'm watching that video, it's like I remember my why. Like even the stuff I was saying in the video, you know, I know I'm young, but I want to make the world a better place. It's like, that's my why. So wherever I go in life, it's like I keep reverting back to my why. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing? Because it's easy to get steered off track, you know, in the amongst it all and whatnot. But I think just keep reverting back to your why is important for sure.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because there's a beautiful purity about childhood. You know, no one's told you within reason you can't not do anything yet. And I see you pass it on with your nieces and nephews as well. There was that beautiful scene that we just saw when you were getting ready for Glastonbury, casual. And I love that shot that Fen took of you know, rubbing your nephew's hands and saying, like, you know, this is calming me down. How important is it to you to kind of, I guess, keep protecting that little girl that we saw on stage?
Yeah, I think it's super important, because my journey obviously hasn't been straightforward, and there's been a lot of just rejection, as I'm sure many other industries, but especially with me, obviously being that I rap and I'm coming into a space that is taken up by a lot of guys. There's just a lot of male energy. There's a lot of you know, you can't come in the cypher just yet. You know what I mean? That kind of energy. I've often felt very isolated, to be honest. And I'm very much insular person anyway, obviously introvert, all of that. But I've had to, I've really had to like coach myself to step out and believe in my greatness, and believe like I'm meant to be here and I'm going to take up space, and it's okay for me to take up space. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to try and inspire people to also do the same, you know. So yeah, it's been a journey of trying to protect that little girl as best as I can, and I'm still trying to do it now, I guess, because there's a lot of sharks, and it's also and I've seen it, like even with people I've met along the way, it's like you always get told about the sharks, and it's hard to not become one, you know. But that's a lot to do with obviously who you've got around you, who's in your ear, you know what I'm saying, the company you keep. So it's very important, and it is a journey. But I'm grateful, like I said, to have my family, these people that keep me grounded, especially when you're constantly like on a high, whether that's you're doing Glastonbury, you're doing this, or you're touring, or whatever it is. You need to have your feet rooted in some sort of reality, otherwise you're done out, you know. So yeah, I try to keep that with me as I go.
And how do you balance being the sort of nucleus for so many things and for so many people? Because, you know, one thing I've observed about you over the years is that you keep a very close circle and you're very consistent with who you work with, you know, whether it's Jeremy or Chloe or Tilla, like, or Jack, TJ, all the people that are in your circle, like, it's very intentional who you choose to have around you. But how do you, I guess, how do you balance being the boss as well as being a human being at the same time? Because that's a lot of different hats you've got to wear.
I think it's just transparency and honesty. And I think I've learned that I'm dealing with humans. Therefore, like, I know they understand human emotion. I know they understand, like, when it gets a lot and when it's tough, when I don't want to be asked questions, when I don't want to be filmed, when I don't want to talk about work, when I just want to... But I have to talk. It's communication. Like, I have to talk them through that and make them understand, you know what I mean? And once they get it, it's like, cool. But I've also not always done that, do you know what I mean? And I felt like, no, I've just got to wear the hat all the time, and then it just, I don't know, I'd figured, no, I'm gonna try actually just being transparent about how I feel. And also, I always say I'm an artist, so I get creative license. I can...
Are you trying to quote Erica now?
Yeah, absolutely.
She's an artist and she's sensitive about her.
100%, but it's true, you know what I mean? And that's, I think, the beautiful thing about art and the creators of it. It's like you never know what you're going to get, you know? As long as I'm, you know, I'm never not a disrespectful person, you know what I'm saying? Never going to talk out of tone or speak to people in a way that I wouldn't like to be spoken to, you know? As long as there's always a base level of respect, I think it's okay for people to deal with the creative within someone, you know? But they're still with me, so hopefully it's going all right. Yeah.
I think it's going all right. On the flip side, can I talk about your relationship with your fans and how your fan base has just grown and changed so much over the years? Because, you know, that Glastonbury, that did not happen overnight, as we know. But there are some people that probably would have watched that on TV and may not have heard of you before or thought that this was you on album number 1. But you're 5 albums deep now. You've been putting out albums since, 2014? Yeah. Curious Tale? Like, this isn't, you know, an overnight success. So how are you dealing with people kind of getting to know you in this iteration of Simz, that they see, you know, winning the Mercury Prize and winning Brits and getting big commercial success, as well as your kind of OGs and day ones who kind of know you in a different space?
Yeah, I think this is why, like, honestly, living your life is so important, because I used to get in a cycle where I would just make music, and then I start realizing, like, I don't actually have much to talk about because I'm not living my life. And that's why I think it's so important to have new experiences, talk to people. I think your world gets bigger the more you learn about other people's, and that informs how I make my music. And I'm always, like, reinventing myself in some way, you know? And I think that's what's exciting for me, you know, because I'm probably going to be performing Selfish till I'm 70, but there's got to be a way for me to make that exciting, you know what I'm saying? And that's for me to reinvent the way I view live shows, and how can I make my shows more immersive, or my stage design, or what I wear, or there's got to be a way within that to keep reinventing yourself. And yeah, people catch on at different moments, and that's fine as well, you know. Some people literally think No Thank You's my first album, like, and that's cool, do you know what I mean? It's to them, that's totally fine. But yeah, I just think it's important for me to keep it exciting for myself. Yeah.
And talk to me about, I guess, elevating your art, because I've seen, like, you know, we all saw, like, you're a lot more physical on stage these days, and you're a lot more more daring with how you express yourself. You know, you have choreographers now, and, like, you know, it's a lot more braggadocious. I mean, that is the culture of the kind of the music that you make, is to be like, yeah, I'm here, da da da. But you seem to have, I don't know, you seem to have, like, turned into a bit of a new beast on stage. Like, where has that come from?
I think it comes with like trying to do right by the music. Do you know? I think if I was making music that required, you know, me to sit on a stool, I would do that. Because I genuinely, do you know what I mean? I genuinely would sit on a stool and perform for you, because that is how I feel I would love for you to experience this music, do you know? But I think the music I've been making, I want people to feel uplifted. I want people to feel inspired. I want to give 110% energy, you know? It's like, again, going back to the video of me when I was younger, I clocked it from early, like regardless of, you know, what the crowd are doing, I can set the tone here. Do you know what I mean? And I can create an environment to make people feel safe and like it's okay to have fun. Some people come to my shows one man up, they're by themselves and they leave with a new friend. But I think over the years I've wanted to make my shows feel like that. Like you can come by yourself and you can still feel safe within this environment and have a good time, and feel like it's just me and you in the room, do you know? But yeah, and gearing up for that performance as well. Is the only show I was scheduled to do this year. From last year, I said, I'm not doing any shows. And then Glastonbury approached me, giving me penultimate. I'll do that one, but that's it. But I knew it was in June, and so all of that time, my body would have just been stiff, just bone-eyed, or just not performing. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna learn a new skill and I'm gonna start Muay Thai. And I just started training, big up my trainer Keith, he's really been helping me. And I just think the discipline of it, the being not good at something in my adult life, like where I've trained for something for so, I know how to perform, I think I'm all right. And so not knowing, like really being a baby at something and being like, rah, this is very uncomfortable. But if I get to June and I can feel like, you know what I'm saying, if someone tries me, what? You know, like...
Don't want to catch those hands.
Yeah. Just being able to have that within myself and then go on stage and feel like, yo, like I'm up, my posture's up. That was probably the easiest performance I've ever done in I don't know how many years, just because it's true. It's like you train hard and you fight easy. You know, I was so on it. By the time I got to Glastonbury, I was like, what? This is a brick. Like, I genuinely could have kept going for time. But yeah, I guess that's just the discipline and wanting to be like, nah, I don't want to go into a show like that cold with my body, like, or my muscles not have moved because I've not been on tour. So let me do what I can to activate them.
Well, it's a constant practice being you, isn't it, essentially? Like learning about yourself with every performance, every record that you put out. I wanted to talk to you about what I call the how dare you factor and the audacity factor that a lot of people can place on women in creative spaces, because you've been really good at being like, actually, no, I do dare. But can you talk us through any? Obviously, we're not trying to do hot tea here. We're not trying to do hot topics. But I would like to know if there's been a particular moment in your career when someone's, you know, or the powers that be have really told you, do you know what, you don't belong here, but you thought, no, I need to push you anyway.
I don't belong in the space, in the scene, or in the space.
I mean, earlier when you were talking about how like it can be a bit of a boys' club sometimes, but with all your creative endeavours, whether it's like, you know, putting out music, acting, fashion stuff, whatever.
Yeah, that's a thing. I think like I don't know if this is a misconception or not, but like I guess you can't. How are you gonna do music and do acting? How are you gonna do that then? Like, well, I'll just do it, innit? Like, my thing is, what I'm passionate about is storytelling, do you know? So whatever medium that is, that's what I'm passionate about, and that's what I care about. And that's I was saying it to someone earlier, like it doesn't have to be my story, it could be someone else's, but I think everyone has a story, a unique story, and I'm passionate about people being heard and stories being told. It just so happens that I started with music being the thing that I'm gonna go for. I had a team, Space Age, that I grew up with at the time, and with acting, I guess, like, auditioning for stuff, you get way more knockbacks. I think it's hard to move with acting independently, I think. But yeah, I think the art of storytelling itself is just like what I'm most here for, and so I just make it work however I can. I was not trying to be jack of all trades and master of none. I want to do everything to a high level, but ultimately I know my purpose is to tell stories and to connect to people, and so when it comes to it's been a lot of just like, no, that's not gonna work, you can't do that, and sometimes I always say the worst thing you can do is piss me off, because I know how to channel, I know how to like use that and put it through my art, and that's how a lot of my records are made, just being like, what? Okay, which I don't always want to create from that space, but I've clocked how to use that energy to make art, yeah.
Can I ask you this? When do you allow yourself, and can you allow yourself to be alone and to be quiet? Because a lot of your time is spent obviously creating, which is something you love to do, but also serving other people. Like, we love to be entertained by you, we love to watch you on TV and films, we like to listen to your music, but can you ever allow yourself to just be?
Yeah, 100%.
And what do you do?
I'm based. I'm honestly just chilling. I got my shows I watch, I read my books. I can plug out and I can remove myself, and I think that's been great for like my mental, and as well just again just having that time for myself, because I'm such a giver. I just want to give. Even with this, it's like I'm not per se promoting a record, but it's like I still want to do something for the communities, for people. It's just whatever I can do, or whichever way I feel like I can contribute to the landscape of art and music, like I'm here to be able to do, but I do for sure have time for myself. Yeah,
I'm glad you do.
Yeah.
Because, look, as an observer, as a mate, look, as a room full of fans, you're busy, Simz. Yeah. Like, you do a lot. And I'm always just like, I hope she's taking care of herself. 100%. So when you fling up those holiday pics on Instagram, we're always happy.
Yeah, the holiday flicks stay coming up. But I'm very much someone that likes to be around my family. Yeah, man. I think it's nice to be grounded by people that love you and you love, and just remind you that even if your tunes weren't it, and even if you didn't have a fan in the world or not, like, we still got you, and that's like, all that shit can go tomorrow, and I know like they'll have me, so it's just nice to be reminded of that.
And to paraphrase the quote from the start of the movie, I mean, we all think have heard an iteration of this, people can do whatever, they can say whatever, and you can receive that, but you'll never forget how people made you feel. Do you remember the first time you heard that quote, and why it resonated with you particularly, why you wanted to put it in? Yeah,
to be honest, I got a shout out Fen O'Mealy, who directed this movie. Nah, make some noise for Fen, man, because like... Then and this, I'll get into that in a second, but this is another thing about like even working with people that Fen's already by herself, amazing filmmaker, amazing photographer, just great at what she does, but just made the process of this so like seamless, because I think when you're like capturing an artist, especially in high intensity moments of solitude, moments of, you gotta learn them and study them and know how to not be so in front of their face, but make sure you're not missing stuff. And that's why I really like how she shot this, because I think there were times where she just leave the camera in the room on the floor and just go, and I just forget. And this, but she found ways to still capture stuff without actually being in the room, which I thought was cool, you know, and placing cameras in certain places to make sure she's not missing things, and just her energy in, you know, having her in the space and around my family, around my friends. Like, it was so like, oh, no tea. It's okay.
You can sample that for a tune in the future or something, I'm sure. You can create.
Yeah, like I think, yeah, I don't know. It was just really nice, her energy, and as well dealing with the aftermath of me, of being like, can we change this? You edit this, you do, you know, because can be very.
You're a very
hands-on.
detail oriented person.
Can be very, very. But no, she honestly made the experience of putting this together so seamless, and yeah, we're just getting started, so it's cool. But yeah, sorry, the Maya quote. Yeah, I was gonna say big up Fen, because that was her call on that. Obviously, I love Maya Angelou, but that
was it.
Yeah, and she put that in one of the earlier cuts and was like, you know, we can change it. I was like, nah, that's true. It's like at the end of it all, it's not. Maybe people will remember that I've done something at the Tate in 50 years. Maybe they won't, you know, but I would hope that an interaction they had with me out there or in the street or whatever it is, that it's the connection and the moments we get to interact that I hope can stay, do you know? So, yeah.
Well, ultimately, it's about preserving legacy, isn't it? You know, this film, everything that you do. When you meet your fans now, sort of like out and about, even just walking around earlier, is it still a lot for you to process that people are that
cool,
invested?
Everyone's so blessed.
Yeah,
like, everyone's just nice and respectful, and like I genuinely feel like love. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely feel like, yeah, and I've been around people that, you know, have fans and have huge fan or whatever it is, and I can see how like, yo, their fans are damn monkeys. Do you know what I mean? They want that photo now. But the times I have met people, I've been like, do you know what? Is it alright? Not right now. Whatever. So respectful, so kind. Like, I'm dealing with humans that have the ability to be kind and like understand, you know. So yeah, but everyone's blessed, everyone's popped anyway, they're having a great time, and it's good.
Well, it's about building community, and that's what you've done, you know, with your career so far. So let me ask this as a final question before we open it up to everybody. How do you want people to remember how you made them feel?
What? I would hope that people feel from me that in the time we have an interaction or a connection, that they know I'm present and I'm listening and I can hear you and I'm here. That's it.
Present, listening, and here. Simz, thank you so much. All right. Thank you. We're going to open it up now for Q&A. We've got about 15 minutes. Going to have to be a bit ruthless, so word economy we always appreciate, but the love definitely stays in the questions, for sure. All right.
Thanks. I'll go for one close by, and then that way, after that one, we can just start hopping around the room, okay? So, between... There you go. Sorry.
Is this on? Hello. Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
I wanted to ask, as one actor to another, when did you feel like the acting spark bubbling within you?
Yeah.
And do you also envision your acting and your music to work in tandem with each other?
Yeah.
Is it separate? Is it something you want to explore in your career?
Wicked, thank you for your question. I actually started acting before music. I know it's like, obviously I started, it's like, well, when did you start acting? And when you come out of the womb, like I literally have been doing this since knee high, and I thought, I kind of wanted to go that route, but I again clocked like there's different ways I'm able to express myself. And so when they do go hand in hand, I'm here to help support that. But if they don't, I don't try and force it. You know, I'm happy to keep them separate if it calls for that. But otherwise, I think they can work in harmony. Yeah, for sure.
Hi.
Hello.
First of all, wow, that was amazing. I just wanted to ask you about your creative breakthroughs and the kind of moments where you feel like you've grown. What have been the catalysts for those moments?
Yeah. I think it's when I feel like, okay, so sometimes when I go into like write an album, I get all the rubbish out, all the stuff that will probably not make it. Some stuff does stick, some stuff doesn't, but I'm very aware I'm just purging. But I think I'm training myself to just operate at the highest level, to be honest. And just like, instead of coming in at level 1, why don't I just actually go for level 3 and kind of see what happens? But my creative process change and alters with every project, and I allow myself room for that to be able to happen. Like I don't want to be rigid in the way that I create. So I think just allowing room for flexibility is always helpful, and journaling, because sometimes I don't remember a lot of stuff, but I'll journal and I'll have things to refer back to when I go in to make music or write a record. Be like, oh, okay, that happened, I can talk about that, or here's something that happened in my life, or that interaction with this person. So documentation, I think, is important as well, to have things to refer back to. Don't know if that helps, but thanks.
Hi. From one musician to another, I just kind of wanted to ask about the confidence on stage and kind of how I mean, I know you kind of said about your family helping you with your confidence, but kind of, is there any other things that help with your performance and feeling like you can just be yourself in front of a huge audience of people?
Yeah, for sure. I think I would honestly really highly recommend dancing to yourself, like just by yourself, and just being so free in your body and movement that you're able to tune out whatever is going on in the room. But I definitely just really getting lost in the music as a whole has really helped me. Sometimes, yeah, of course, like, I still get nervous for sure. Like if I get even doing this, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But I think obviously the more you do it, the more confident you'll be in it. But to start, I'd highly recommend like just really getting to know your body and how it moves and being really confident in that. Yeah, for a start, for sure.
Going back to that little girl that we saw dancing.
Oh, God.
Hi, thank you so much for that. It was brilliant. You said at the start how important it is to remind yourself of your why.
Yeah.
And how you always want to try and make the world a better place.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, how did you find that why? Like, what led to that purpose, and how do you keep reminding yourself of that all the time?
Yeah. How did I find out why? I think from early, I was very aware that, like, life is unfair. And I think, like, obviously just watching, like, my mum, you know, have to work 2 jobs and like do what she had to do to support her family. Like, just looking at my immediate situation and being like, that's not fair. Like, I don't like this. Like, you know, that was my why. Like, I want to better my family's lives. I want to make life easier for my family and the people I care about. And then it started expanding when I got older and connecting with people like, oh, you go through that as well. Okay. So now it becomes a us thing. Like, how can we make this better for us? You know? And then you just, the older you get, you just want to do more for people because we're more alike than different. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I guess it just started from looking at what I could see right here and being like, oh, there's a shared experience that we're having, and what can I do to contribute to make that easier, you know? Yeah. You know,
Hi.
all right,
Sorry.
you go after. Go on. Sorry.
This has been inspirational. My question is, what advice would you give to a little Simz now?
Yeah. Keep Harlem shaking. Keep Harlem shaking, boy. Trust me. Gonna need them moves in this life. I would say, don't rush. Like, don't feel like if you don't put out this EP now, the internet is never gonna exist and you would have missed your chance to tell people you're chill. Like, it's okay, you know, you can take your time to create your art. Obviously, if you get, you know what I'm saying, sometimes I'm impulsive and I just want to put things out, and that's just how I am. People got to tell me, yo, let's do it properly. But I'd say just take your time a bit. Don't feel like you've got to rush to the finish line. Like, it's a marathon, not a sprint, you know? So I just try and remind myself to, it's okay, take time, take slow, you know?
Just for those of you at the front, don't worry, I'm going to be looping around back to the front again, so don't worry, everyone get a chance.
No worries.
Hey.
Hello.
I was just going to ask, because I know like it's been a journey for you. So I was just going to ask a quick, cute question.
Yeah.
And how do you persevere through your hardships? And what would you say to anyone that's going through a hardship and struggling to continue?
How do I persevere through my hardships? I think, I said it before, but this is again personal to me and my experience, but I do think finding a way to channel. I think everyone needs an outlet. I really do. And even like something that I guess even like doing the Muay Thai and stuff has taught me is like, I'm genuinely not like an angry person, but even when I do a 1-2 hit and I let something out, it's like, oh, that feels good. Do you know what I mean? So I think like I guess what I'm saying is like not bottling things up and talking to people as well and letting people in on your experience, because again, like you also never know who could be having a similar experience and how you can help. And again, your world gets bigger the more you learn about someone else's. So I think seeking counsel, like, don't be afraid to like talk to people and ask people for advice and for help, is very important for sure. So that's helped me. And again, journaling, it helps me process what I'm going through when I'm able to write it down. Some people, it's always different, you know. Someone's telling me the other day, like, they will write and then start drawing shapes, and sometimes the shapes are really like crazy, or sometimes they're really, but that helps them understand what they're feeling. So I think whichever way is like helps you, don't be afraid to try. Yeah, no worries.
Hello.
Hello.
My question is,
Yep.
so I really like the way you're talking about evolving,
Mm-hmm.
but what is one thing that you wouldn't want to change about yourself?
One thing I wouldn't want to change about myself is I think just my curiosity to learn. Like, I think, like, I don't know. I think I'm very inquisitive person. Like, I like to ask a lot of questions, and I like to know, and I, get so invested in something that I find fascinating. And I think that it just gives me a little buzz. Like, I find it, I think not knowing, I think, like, I met a lot of know-it-alls, and it's not interesting people, So I think, I'd love always asking questions and wanting to know, not in an annoying way, just like genuinely fascinated and curious. So yeah, I quite like that about myself. Cool.
Just a quick question from me. I want to ask about the importance of like free community spaces for you growing up. And
What's
why
that, sorry?
Like free community spaces, youth clubs growing up, and why they're really important today for young people.
Yeah, I think I grew up in the youth club, that's why I got really good at table tennis, so I got really good at pool, but just having a space where, like, I was able to really come alive and be myself outside of the school regime and setup. And some people that I still know to this day I met in the youth centre, do you know what I mean? But I think it's super important, man, just having a space for young people to explore, and figure out. No one's got to have everything figured out at 10. Like, it's not, I don't think that's everyone's path. But I think you need to be able to be in a space and amongst people where you're all figuring it out and you're trying, and there's, again, a shared experience in trying and failing, and that's okay as well. You don't have to know and have it all figured out for sure. But I think I got that from the youth club experience. So I do think it's very important. Yeah.
And again, why it's important you're taking over the space today, because you've got to sow those seeds with people,
Yeah. I was honestly so nervous that I was calling my team, like, I ain't even got shit to say to you lot. I'm just like, is everything all right? Like, are we doing all right today? And it's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, people are here. They've showed up. Everything is learning as well. And I think, like, there will obviously be a debrief, as which I think you should do with everything you do. But how I can just level up, you know what I'm saying? I never, like, look at this as like, oh, this is it. I always, okay, what else can we do, or how else can we make this to the best it can possibly be, But I appreciate everyone taking a chance and just stepping out on a Saturday, honestly, and I hope it was worth it, for sure. Keeks. My nephew's gonna ask me a question.
Hello, Auntie.
Hello.
Do you know when you're gonna...
Look, sibling rivalry here. Go on.
Do you have any more of those videos from when you was younger?
I do, yeah. I do, actually.
Could we see them? Like...
eventually. Yeah, this is only part 1, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Thank you. Bye.
Hello.
Sorry,
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, Mum, here we go.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for your love and support for my daughter. I have 4 beautiful children. This is my son here, Femi. He's a big man. And I have 3 gorgeous daughters. And they all did very well. And it was a very, very hard work and a rough ride. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not easy, but with the help of God and for the beautiful love of everyone's support, I say thank you so much. Yeah, and God bless you all. And thank you so much, my beautiful daughter, little Simz. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Please continue to support one another. Thank you. God bless you all.
Can I get the mic on set? I mean, how do you follow up, Auntie? I mean, Mama Simz, thank you for making an incredible artist, an incredible human being. Everyone, thank you so much for coming out. Simz, thank you for creating this night. Big up each and every one of your team. And yeah, keep encouraging young people to come to art spaces and free nights, because it's important, because that's why we get people like this, right?
Yeah, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Honestly, I'm so grateful. And this is just is it on? It's not even, this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. So thank you. Yeah, thank you.
The family business.